once again, audience. I'm Matt of Karsic Film Studios.
And I'm Matt Gormer from Tundra Portal.
And welcome to another episode of Movie Madness. Now, before we get into this episode, I want to throw out a little disclaimer. What we're doing is our movie news is about the leaked Sony interviews and the movie The Interview being pulled. And this is a very controversial topic right now. So I do work for a theater. I work for Blackstone Valley 14 Cinema Deluxe in Millbury, Massachusetts, which is a showcase theater. And I just want to express that my views and opinions on this topic do not reflect that of Showcase Cinemas or National Amusements or BV14. They are solely my own views. It has nothing to do with any of the views of the theater. And I just want to get that out of the way. Matt, I think you're fine because, you're just a moviegoer and you work at a grocery store. But also I want to apologize that we didn't get a Movie Madness out to you last week. Oops. We didn't get a Movie Madness out to you last week because we were just so busy. Matt had finals. I was working on a project, so we're going to kind of combine last week's and this week's. But without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, the first topic, movie news, leaked Sony emails and the interview pulled. Now, here's how I look at it. At first, the leaked Sony emails were just like a kind of light thing, talking about, how they're kind of done with Spider-Man and how they're looking to Marvel Studios, to give it back to them, especially for Captain America Civil War. But then a darker side of this story came out, in which I guess the hackers, allegedly, I can't say for sure, but I guess this is the story. The hackers threatened Sony that if they released The Interview, the movie The Interview starring James Franco and Seth Rogen, that there would be 9/11 style attacks on any movie theater that dared to play that movie. And so since then, The Interview has been pulled. Clips from Sony's YouTube page about The Interview have been pulled, and The Interview is no longer going to be viewed in cinemas around the country, to my knowledge. I think BV14 took it down. Matt, why don't you go first on this?
Sure. I'll just start by saying it's a little scary. I mean, obviously it's a very controversial topic, but the reason why I find it scary is because it brings me back to a couple years ago from I think it's the Colorado shooting during the Dark Knight Rises, when that crazy gunman came in and killed, those people that went to go see a midnight screening of the Dark Knight Rises. And a couple days after that shooting, I actually went to go see the Dark Knight Rises, and I had that in my mind because I saw it in the news, and when there was like a big action scene in the movie, I got scared and I said, what if something like that happened, to me, the way it happened in that movie theater? And it kind of brought it back when they said 9/11 style attacks, because I don't think I was going to see The Interview in theaters. I might have, but I was saying, maybe I'll see it, maybe not. But even then, I mean, I saw The Hobbit this past weekend, and I still had that in my mind, saying, what if something like that happened? What if, like, this extreme group, just walking to the theater, and just, shot up a bunch of people? And it's just, to me, it's a scary thought. So, and even President Obama said it was kind of a bad idea for Sony Pictures to actually take it down, because it's kind of giving in to the whole terrorists, what they wanted. So now they're probably just going to ask for more stuff. They're going to demand this. Going to ask for more stuff from Sony. So it's very controversial. It's very scary. And especially for me, like last week, my debit card got hacked and I lost money. I mean, for me that's just money, but now when you're threatening, to do 9/11 style attacks on movie theaters, that's scary stuff. So what are your thoughts on it, Matt?
I definitely agree with you. As a patron and a moviegoer, if you're in a theater, yeah, it'll be in the back of your mind. I try not to think about it. Like, we haven't had any really big issues at movie theaters since that Batman incident. Yes, it is scary to think about, and it's probably even scarier if it happens at your theater, and you know, God forbid it does. But this is how we should also look at it, Matt, because we're both filmmakers. Okay, so the hackers threatened us with this, so we, pull the coward card and we pull the interview from theaters. All right, we're like, oh, we don't want this to happen. We're not going to release our movie. Okay. That just shows you're a coward, and you're appeasing the demands of basically a terrorist. One of two things would have happened if you played that movie. One, nothing, because the hackers are sitting, cowards themselves behind a keyboard, and you pretty much called their bluff. They got nothing. It's probably just some fat guy who knows how to work a computer. He ain't gonna do shit. Or two, sorry, my voice cracked. Or two, these hackers are the real deal, and they probably would have gone and done that. I don't know for sure. But to me, it upsets me because it looked like a really funny movie, and I was really excited to see it. But I had no idea all this was going down. So now that I've heard of it, like, I'm kind of glad, because even if I wasn't watching it, if I was working, wrong place, wrong time, But it upsets me because as a filmmaker, what does this mean for us? It means that, or what's in it for our future? I know that George Clooney had made a petition to get the interview back in the theater, saying that both Sony and the hackers were cowards, but nobody would sign it. And what does this mean for the future of filmmaking? Well, in my eyes, it means that they're taking away our creative freedom. Like, as a filmmaker, you want complete creative freedom to create whatever type of movie you want, whether it's an original movie, based off a book, based off something else, or if it's a reboot, whatever you want. This was a very original movie, and it looked pretty decent, but because of the plot where Seth Rogen and James Franco's character are sent to assassinate Kim Jong-un, people were all up in arms about it. And in my opinion, I think, come on, why can't Korea just take a fucking joke? I mean, seriously. It just upsets me that we cannot release it, and I don't know if we'll ever see it. I don't know if it's going to be lost forever, if they're going to destroy it. But it just upsets me that all that hard work into making the movie, making the promos for the movie, and all this advertisement just went out the window. Just because somebody behind a keyboard said that they were going to do these 9/11 style attacks on any theater that played this movie. Sony just put their tail between their legs and just cowered out. But with that said, I think Sony wasn't just thinking about themselves. They were also thinking about, they don't want this to happen to anybody. They were thinking about other people. Like, the patrons and moviegoers of movies say this, if this movie were to go out, this would be a potentially dangerous movie.
Yeah, and also imagine, if they keep doing this with other movies. Like, say, for example, what if the hackers just decide to be funny and, try doing it with Star Wars, and they try canceling Star Wars next year when it comes out?
Exactly.
Imagine where that'll cost.
That's exactly right. This is why the United States of America does not negotiate with terrorists. These hackers are not just hackers, right? if they just hacked Sony and leaked all their emails, fine, haha, jokes on them. You know, you're hackers. But now that you've threatened us with a style of attack that's just a big no-no, now you're a terrorist. You're a terrorist in the United States. Maybe, I don't know if they're in the United States of America, but they are terrorizing the United States, and that's a big no-no. And something should be done before they decide that they are going to take it to the next step. Or, you know, say, oh, you can't release Jurassic World. You can't release the new Avengers. You can't release the new Star Wars. That's my opinion on it.
Yeah, it's very controversial. I mean,
Very controversial.
but I guess only time will tell us, you know, what happens.
Yeah. Like, it... Like, I knew about the leaked Sony emails, and I was like, oh, that seems like a pretty good movie news. And I actually just... first of all, shout out to AMC Movie Talk on YouTube, because that's where I get a lot of my movie news and information, and I love those guys, and they're so much better than us, but, you know, we try. But I was watching a video that they posted a day or two ago, and it was about the interview being pulled. Granted, I heard about the interview being pulled earlier in the day, but I didn't know the specifics, and then I watched the video, and I got all the information I needed about it. I'm like, oh, wow, I had no idea. So, yeah. I think that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I'm all set to it. I mean, like I said, I guess we'll just have to wait to see what either the hackers, you know, either they probably won't go away, but we'll have to see if they want anything else, or if the president decide, you know, declares something to try to find them. I'm sure obviously they'll look for them now, but if they do find them, they resolve the problem.
Yeah, let's hope, because if they say, you know, we're gonna bomb the theaters that play Star Wars, I will go look for them myself. Because there's no way I'm letting that slide. Alright, next item is random topic. Matt, what do you got for us?
I read online there's something called Movie Pass where you pay a monthly fee. I think it's about $30, and you can see pretty much a movie a day. And it works kind of like a credit card. You just slide in. You can go to many different theater chains around your area and see movies. And I think that's a really good idea. What are your thoughts on that?
I think it's a great idea. Like, I'm all for, like... Because it's funny. It's kind of like... It's very similar to, like... you know, I forget the name, but, like, if you go to Six Flags, you've got that pass where you can, like, cut to the front.
Oh, Fast Pass?
Fast Pass, that's it. You know, you've got that for most major theme parks, and then you've got, like... I know there was something else where you had, like, a style pass, but it's kind of like that. It's kind of like, instead of waiting in that long line, that long twisty line to get your ticket, you know, not even knowing if the seats you want are available, if it's select seating, you know, and then getting in there, or even just worried about it being sold out, you can just take this card, swipe it, and go. It's kind of like that, and I love the idea of that. But Matt informed me before we started filming this that the only theater that doesn't have it is my theater.
Well, in the area, Blackstone Valley Cinema Deluxe.
But
if any major company guy that owns Movie Pass is listening to this, hopefully they'll look at the theater and say, "Hey, let's partner with them." Because
yeah.
I definitely get it. I'd go there all the time. Oh, also, I will add that I also read that there won't be any fee for like 3D showing, so you can see it in any format without like any extra fees.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and I'm pretty sure at some point we'll pick it up. I know we just did some more stuff for the X Plus. We just put some new furniture in there. I don't know if you saw that.
No, not yet.
Yeah, we put some chairs and little tables in there, so it is coming together than what I originally thought. Like back when we first started the podcast, and I'll send you that picture so you can put it in here
That's nice.
in this spot. But yeah, the long couch. I went to go see the Hunger Games with my friends. I don't know if I said this, but I went to go see the Hunger Games Mockingjay, And that one long couch that was there before anything else, we sat on it. It is the most uncomfortable thing in this world. I don't know how people can sit on this. But now we've got these like really nice armchairs and tables, and I've sat in the armchairs, and they're actually pretty comfortable. So, and I know they're thinking about putting TVs in there. I don't know where exactly, but you know, only time will tell. It's coming along. It's not just a big open space. It actually looks like a lounge. I have no idea where I was going with this. But yeah, like I feel like at some point we'll pick up the passes, and I think that would actually bring more more revenue in, more customers. You know, that seems like a great idea.
Because all the other showcase theaters have are able to use the pass. Like if you go to their website and they say type in your zip code, they have the little symbol for like Showcase Cinemas North, even the Providence Place Cinema, the Showcase there, and like they have the Regal Cinemas in Bellingham. So all around, it's just Blackstone Valley. You need to get that.
Yeah. Nice, I like it. Alright, item 3, trailer breakdown. We're breaking down 2 trailers today. The first one is San Andreas. What do we think about San Andreas, Matt?
I think it's going to be pretty cool. I think that Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was a really cool choice as the main character. I definitely wasn't expecting the movie at all until I didn't hear much about it until I saw the trailer in theaters. I said, oh, Dwayne Johnson in this movie. So pretty much what I got out of it, there's this giant earthquake and obviously San Andreas, but it's so massive that it's going to affect the rest of the world, and it kind of has like a day after tomorrow feel to it, and kind of like 2012 when you see like all the tectonic plates moving and you can see all the city just moving up and down because everything's moving so fast and wildly, and it's craziness. What are your thoughts on it?
First of all, I want to point out that I got really excited when I saw the title, because that was the first thing I saw. I saw San Andreas, and I'm like, finally, a movie about Grand Theft Auto. And then I watched the trailer, like, this has nothing to do with Grand Theft Auto. But it does look really cool. It's a disaster movie, and that's my big thing. I love disaster movies. Titanic, Day After Tomorrow, 2012, you name it, I love disaster movies. And this is going to be one of the good ones. I am a huge fan of Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Not so much of his wrestling, but of his movies. Yeah, and it just looks like it's going to be like a real thriller. I guess he is a helicopter pilot or retired helicopter pilot. And, you know, all this goes down and he has to do helicopter pilot things. I really don't know. But it does... The visuals look great. Paul Giamatti's in it, so how can you go wrong? It's got great visuals. It looks like it's going to be like one of those things where you're just like glued to the screen. And, yeah, I'm looking forward to that. And it's a disaster movie, so, like, I almost automatically love it. Unless it's horrible. Alright, the next trailer breakdown is Inside Out. I am so excited for Inside Out. I think it's going to be the cutest thing since Frozen. What I love about it is that it's kind of like... You guys are going to think I'm weird, but this is kind of like my mindset. Like, sometimes I'll think, you know, what if we have, like, little people in our body that's, like, our whole body is, like, a big, like, system or, like, you know, I don't know, something where, kind of like the idea of Osmosis Jones, that movie back in the day.
Yeah, with like the viruses and everything.
Yeah, it's like where there's, like, little us's just, like, walking around, and we're just, like, this system that they look after, and they... You know, you have the people and, you know, like, making choices. It's hard to explain, really. It makes sense in my head. It's like our body is a system that the little people in our head is controlling. We think it's free will, but they're up there like, Matt feels hungry. Press the hungry button or something like that. I don't know. Hopefully it makes sense to you guys. It makes sense in my head, but maybe it's because the people in my head aren't making it make sense.
Well, they kind of showed it in the trailer, so...
yeah, it's basically what the trailer is how I envisioned, like, our inner workings. Now, granted, I went to school. I know that's not true. Our body is a complex system of wiring and all this other biology stuff that I didn't retain in school. But I just love the idea of it, and I'm really looking forward to seeing it. And I'm even more excited because I know it's not going to just entail this little girl and the little crew inside this little girl. It's going to deal with the emotions of, like, her parents and who maybe other people in her world. And I just think it's a fantastic idea. Matt, what do you think?
I think it's a really good idea too. I love Pixar. I mean, they always make great movies, and I think it's just really cute. Especially, the trailer is just a scene where a little girl got back from her first day at school, and they're asking if she got friends, and it's showing inside all of their heads how they're supposed to react, and she doesn't react right because she has like mood swings because she's going through puberty and everything, and you see the little people controlling her, and then you see the mom reacting. You see the dad reacting with little people inside, and I just think it's going to be funny and cute to see all the different emotions and all these characters we're going to get.
I really love how when the daughter and the father are like starting to argue, it's like, we're going to DEFCON 3. It's like, and then, like, in order to have him put his foot down and send her to a room, they have to have two people with keys and put him in and turn him simultaneously. Like, it was so funny. And I'm really looking forward to this. But I will say this. The one thing I didn't like was the first trailer they put out. It was like a look back at all these Disney films. It's like, oh, happiness, anger, sadness. And the sadness was the last one. It was all the sad parts from, previous Disney Pixar films. And, like, I'm watching this trailer and I'm starting to cry. I'm like, get to the point. What are you doing to me? I don't want to relive all these at once. And then it's like, oh, we're doing a movie about emotions. I'm like, okay, you could have just said that. But that's all I got. I'm really excited for these two movies.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, next item, viewed and reviewed. Matt and I both went to the theater the same day. We didn't even know it, but not the same showing. We both saw The Hobbit, The Battle of the Five Armies. Did you see it in X Plus?
No, I saw it on Screen 8, so the second biggest screen there.
You're a fool.
Yeah, I wanted to, but I couldn't.
Don't worry, I saw it in X Plus. I wouldn't see it in anything else.
I'm guessing it was great in X Plus.
Oh yeah, it was fantastic. Like, I don't even know where to begin. Like, I knew the X Plus was going to be the high frame rated version, but for some reason, like, I was waiting for it, I was expecting it, but the minute it started, I really didn't notice a difference. Well, maybe it's because it's the first one I saw, or my first showing, but, like, it didn't really hurt my eyes, it didn't really mess with me at all.
Maybe it's because you're expecting it.
Yeah, maybe it's because I was expecting it. But, one of the things that I've noticed that they didn't do in this one is, like, in all three Lord of the Rings and the first two Hobbits, they have kind of like a backstory or a flashback scene. Like, in Desolation of Smaug, they start the movie off with Thorin Oakenshield going to, I think it was the Prancing Pony, and Gandalf meeting him there, saying, you have to go reclaim Erebor. In the Lord of the Rings movies, Fellowship of the Ring, they started off with the Battle of Mordor. Two Towers, they started off with Gandalf fighting the Balrog, and in Return of the King, it's Smeagol killing his friend for the ring. So they always do these little, flashbacks or like backstories before they get back into the main story. But with The Hobbit, they just went right into it. Like, I understand they left us on a cliffhanger with Smaug, which I'm still angry, even though I've seen all of them. The story is finished for me. It still angers me how they left it in Smaug. So in this one, they just took right off from that. But that's the only thing I noticed. But the movie is still, it's incredible. It's just beautiful to watch. The one thing that really... Okay, let me explain something. I went with my girlfriend and one of my coworkers, and my coworker brought some friends. Now, I've watched movies with my coworker, and it's been fine. But I didn't know that when my coworker has friends with him, that he likes to be a chatterbug during the movie. So I feel like I really can't give a good viewed and reviewed because like the entire time I'm listening to him on the side of me, just like chatting a storm, and I'm trying to watch and focus on this movie. But I'm gonna do the best I can. The one thing, there were a couple things that stood out to me. One was the actual battle with the 5 armies. Like there was no. Everybody was just all over the place. Like, it's not how I envisioned it. Granted, I've never read the book, so I don't know how it was supposed to be. But I just envisioned, like, 5 different armies, kind of like in, like, all facing one each other. I don't know what shape has 5 sides. Was that an octagon? No. I don't know, but kind of like, just like, 5 sides of like whatever shape, just all facing in the middle, and like Gandalf's in the middle saying, you guys need to stop all this. But like you had the elves that were coming from Dale, you had the dwarves coming from the Iron Hills, and then you had 2 waves of like orcs. And then it's like, what was the 5th army? Just Thorin? I felt like it could have been better executed. Needless to say that, the fighting was great. The one thing, unfortunately, that I picked up on, because my friend would laugh every time this happened, is that they rode the most ridiculous beasts. Dale from the Iron Hills was riding a pig. And, like, I'm trying to be open-minded about it, but my friends are laughing, like, every time a ridiculous beast comes into play, and I just can't help but, like, put a pin in it, the fact that it's a ridiculous beast. There was so much I nitpicked about. I don't know why. I think it's because in this one they, put a bunch of fluff in there. Because that night I went and I read that part of the story in the book, and it's, like, very short.
Yeah, I read the book, and the end of the second movie, that big cliffhanger, after that part, there's only 1 chapter left in the book.
Yeah. But I guess there was a bunch of notes and stuff in the appendices of Return of the King.
Of Tolkien, so they, Peter Jackson, I guess the good thing about making a trilogy was, he put all those little short stories into the big trilogy of The Hobbit, so I guess just to make it more expansive.
But was it necessary? That's the big question.
I don't know, I guess it's up to the, viewer that saw the movies, and I guess, they can give their own opinion.
I feel like it could have been done in 2 movies. I don't think there was a need for a 3rd. Granted, it's a great movie. It's visually, it's awesome. You already know these characters, so you already feel for them. So when bad stuff happens, I'm not going to say what happens, but bad stuff happens. If you haven't read the book, you're really going to feel. So it's very much It's a great story, great movie. Very action packed from the word go. But in my opinion, I don't think it was totally necessary to make 3 movies. But it was funny because my friend asked me the other day, because I told my friend I went and saw The Hobbit. She's like, so which one is Battle of the Five Armies your favorite now? And I'm like, no, I still really like Smaug. Desolation of Smaug. I think with The Lord of the Rings, Return of the King is my favorite. With The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug is my favorite. Just because Smaug, as most people already knew, Smaug isn't in Battle of the Five Armies that long. He's in there maybe
5 minutes.
Yeah, 5-10 minutes.
Yeah, because after that, like I even said, like in my head, wow, that was fast.
Yeah. And then we go to like, oh, Sauron's back, and then Galadriel does her thing, and send it up for the next for
I will
Fellowship.
say, it was pretty cool seeing Christopher Lee actually walking around and doing stuff in this one, because I know in the first Hobbit he was just kind of sitting down and talking.
Yeah, he didn't do much in the first one, except like everything was like with his voice. Like that's where the power of it came from. In this one, he was really like, fists up, and it was really fun to see that.
But yeah, I did like it a lot. I think the ending was pretty good too. It ended on right into Lord of the Rings, the transition.
That I thought was very interesting. I wasn't expecting that, and I did like that. But I knew previously the ending from the book, and the ending of the book is when Balin and Gandalf come to visit Bilbo, and I don't know if it's just me, but I really would have liked to see like Balin go to Moria and become the Lord of Moria, because in the Fellowship of the Ring, they go to Moria and it's a wasteland and Balin is dead, So I would have liked them to kind of put together those loose ends, that things that were mentioned in the Lord of the Rings and what we know in The Hobbit. I would like them to put some stuff together, but the way they ended it, I thought was actually really interesting, and I like that a lot.
Yeah.
You have anything else you want to say?
Nope. Other than I like the movie a lot.
It was a really good movie. We recommend it. All right. We have come to that part of the show with what we like to call topic attack. And how this works is that Matt and I have picked out a question for one another, but we don't know what the question the other one has for us. So, in a minute or less, we have to give most, if not all, our thoughts about this topic that the other one gives us. We don't have time to prepare what we want to say. It just has to be off the top of my head. I can't find my stopwatch. So, I'm just going to have to wing it. Alright. Do you want to go first, or should I?
It's up to you. I mean, do you want me to read first, or do you want to read first?
Yeah, you asked me first. Now, the timer doesn't start until after he reads his question. Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, so right before you see a movie, do you check Facebook for any posts on The Hobbit, or do you or like any other movie, or do you try to avoid any social media to avoid spoilers?
Okay, with movies, television, TV shows, whatever, I try to avoid spoilers heavily. They do a lot of it with The Walking Dead. Everybody knows that's my favorite show on TV right now. So, like, if I haven't seen it like right when everybody has to go see it, like the very first day. If I'm one of those guys who's like, nah, I'll go see it tomorrow, I stay away from Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, anything that will ruin it for me. And I hate people who do that. Especially with TV shows, you gotta think we're on the Eastern Seaboard. You know, we're in Eastern Time. You know, if we watch, like, let's say for example, The Walking Dead in Eastern Time, people over in California, they haven't seen it yet. So they're on Facebook and they get it ruined for them. So yeah, I stay away from Facebook.
That was good.
Alright,
I definitely agree, because, you know, I heard one time The Walking Dead actually posted a spoiler by accident, like their main page, when like they killed off a main character or something. I don't know if you heard about that.
I heard about it, but I didn't investigate because
You didn't want to spoil it?
yeah, I hadn't seen it yet. So it's funny because I actually spoiled The Walking Dead for somebody. He used to work at the theater. He doesn't anymore. But I was just talking. It was like it had been like a week or so since the episode, or I forget how long. But it has been long enough where I thought that what I was saying was in the general knowledge. And spoiler alert, in case you haven't seen it, God forbid, Herschel's death. I was talking about Herschel's death, and I was like, oh yeah, you know, I was actually talking about it being spoiled. And I'm like, yeah, Herschel's death was spoiled for me. And to my side, my coworker's like, he's on his phone. He wasn't working, but he was on his phone. And he's like, dude, shut up! And just like kind of throws his phone in the air and walks away. And he did it, you know, it was obviously he was joking around, but it was, I hate being somebody that spoils something. But, yeah, I hate spoilers. Unless I really, really want to know. Like, if something comes out about Star Wars, you won't even know how quick I'll go for it.
Yeah, it's like Star Wars spoiler, just click, click, click.
Yeah, it's like, show me now. Okay, alright, you ready for your topic?
Yes, I'm ready.
Alright. Alright. Since next week is Christmas, I want to know, you have 1 minute, what is your favorite Christmas movie and why?
Ooh, this is hard. Well, I like watching a lot of movies during Christmas. I don't know if that counts, but I guess maybe in terms of Christmas movies, I mean, there's a lot of good ones. I mean, there's childhood Christmas movies. I mean, there's the classic Rudolph one I watch every year on TV from the 60s. So I guess I could either say that, or I know a lot of people like if you like action movies, they say Die Hard, because technically Die Hard is a Christmas movie because it takes place during Christmas. But yeah, I'll definitely say Rudolph, just because I watch that every Christmas, and just because it brings nostalgia, childhood memories to me.
Good. I had no idea that was going to give you such a headache.
Yeah.
Like, when I was thinking about it, I'm like, oh, it's Christmas, what, you know, maybe a Christmas topic, oh, what's your favorite movie? I'm like, my favorite movie, hands down, is Rudolph. I love Rudolph. I grew up with Rudolph. I watch it every year, like at most people, and it's just a classic, and like it's stop motion animation, which is, you know, almost a lost art these days. Yeah, like I like you said, I enjoy a lot of Christmas movies. Like I love The Grinch, the Jim Carrey version, and the cartoon version, but I like the Jim Carrey version. The Santa Claus with Tim Allen. We just got a Medea's Christmas. That was pretty funny. I love a lot of Christmas movies. In terms of Die Hard being a Christmas movie, I'm not going to touch that because it's an action movie. It doesn't really deal with Christmas. it just takes place in Christmas. Like, you could say the same thing about Iron Man 3. You could say that's a Christmas movie if you really wanted to, because it takes place during Christmas. But, yeah, Rudolph, hands down. Alright, unfortunately, we are not popular for any for any mailbag or tweets just yet, but we're going to be getting there. So we're going to skip that part. That's about it for us today. Announcements. Matt, I don't know if you have any announcements.
No, not yet. Just if you want to check out that Movie Pass thing, I don't know if anywhere else. We live in Massachusetts, but if you live anywhere else and you're listening to this, definitely check out that Movie Pass thing if you're a moviegoer, and see if there's theaters in your area that play it. And I'd say definitely go for it.
Yeah. Yeah. For me, it's just I've got Let's Plays coming up on the, my channel. I know I just put together the gig that I did with the band, so that will be coming up when they start posting videos. If they start posting videos of the gig we did on Monday, I'll have Matt put them in the description below. Also, I do want to say, Matt, I don't know if you agree with this, but I assume because you didn't really say anything about it. Because Christmas is next week, this is going to be our last podcast until 2015. We will be returning. What is it? Saturday, January 3rd. Just to kind of give us a week to just like enjoy the holidays and not have to worry about movie news and podcast, because everything's going to be crazy. Because I know I've got Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday all off to do Christmas stuff with families and friends and stuff. And then I'm going to be so tired from that I'm not even going to wake up to do the podcast on Saturday. So we'll be returning on the 3rd, so we will see you guys next year. Yeah, stick around on my channels for some Let's Plays coming out. And I think that's about it. I think we're done.
Yeah.
Alright, well, that's all for this episode of Movie Madness. I'm Matt Karsik.
And I'm Matt Gorman.
And we will see you next year. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year.